Had to wake up for this one. Ladies and gentlemen, we got another installment of Sleeper Streetwear of the Week. 5 drops you may or may not know about. I'm talking about it right here in this video. If you love your weekly dose of Supreme, Palace, and other related streetwear content, then be sure to hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the noti bell so you can stay up to date every single time I post and go live. We're gearing up for not only the Palace season starting on this Friday, but also Supreme Fall Winter 2025, only 2 weeks away. So lock in today and let's get right into it. First things first, we got Palace Week 1 to look out for. Unfortunately, we do not have the drop list out quite yet, which stinks, but I thought let's just go through the lookbook. I actually forgot to make an entire video about the lookbook. I did do a video of everything dropping from Palace Autumn 25, so go check that out if you haven't seen it already. We do have a couple pieces to look forward to this season. I'm not gonna lie, it's not the sickest Palace season of all time. A lot of it is fairly forgettable, but there are some decent sleeper items, some things to look forward to, and then of course we have the collaborations, which in my opinion Palace does relatively well depending on who they're collabing with. So stay tuned for Palace Week 1. I will do my best to just put out the drop list on the community tab page, but you can also stay locked into palacecommunity.com and my Instagram story. I usually repost and add to my story what's coming out every single week. So if you guys want to hear it from me, well, I'll repost it from the sources. Let me know what y'all think about Palace Autumn 25. I personally think these sweaters are pretty cool. The UK, Turkey, and Jamaica ones. Items like this, I'm not so much excited for. The country tracksuits are interesting. I probably wouldn't wear them, but I know some people will definitely like this stuff. I personally think this dog rugby is interesting. It's got a big number on the back. And then Barcelona stuff out the wazoo this season. And then of course the Doraemon stuff is pretty cool for fans of that series. I think you guys are gonna like this next drop. You guys know I'm a big coffee guy, right? I mean, I start half my videos with a damn drink. So what do you get when you take Japanese streetwear and you mix it with caffeinated beverages? Well, you get the Hiroshi Fujiwara and Starbucks collab with the BBT by Fragment, which is a drink combining coffee with tea. And then you also get this reusable cup with Fragment design art on the side. Unfortunately, this is a Japanese exclusive and it's even more limited than that. This drink must be hyper local. I want to try it. I might have to go to my Starbucks sometime this week and get it ordered a la carte or customize it, but it's basically black tea mixed with coffee. And I guess they're reuniting, so I suppose they've teamed up in the past, and it's espresso, black tea, and vanilla cream. Only available at Miyashita Park, which is right here in Shibuya. So here's Miyashita Park. Looks fairly cool. You got some sculptures there, some people standing. Somewhere around here, there's gonna be a Starbucks and you can get yourself a Fragment cup for the 5 of you that are in Tokyo. There you go. Keeping it Japanese, we have Uniqlo's first ever collab with Pokemon trading card game. Come on now. Of course, Uniqlo has collabed with so many different brands, and I think in terms of fast fashion, cheaper stuff, they are one of the best brands out there. Being Japanese, I think their quality might be a little bit higher for that reason, but we got some cool Pokemon shirts that are inspired by the trading card game. First up, we got this Pikachu shirt with a bunch of different art from various cards on this outline. I think it's a cool design. Of course, Pikachu, the most iconic Pokemon, second maybe only to Charizard, but very cool. You can see all this art here. Some of the iconic designs like that one from the original set or one of the original sets. And you got these 3 cards. Somewhere else on the side, Pikachu number 25, Pokedex information. That might be on the back somewhere, or it's down there by the tag. Next up, I think this one's hilarious. The Expert Splasher plus 10. I mean, fellas, come on now. The Expert Splasher, it's a Magikarp shirt. 10 plus, water type, Magikarp, iconic. Starts off as this worthless fish, turns into a giant monster, Gyarados, which is some sort of Japanese legend based on koi fish turning into a sea dragon. Don't know the whole story, but I thought it was a pretty funny shirt. These are all $25, arriving in mid-August. I saw August 11th as the date for this stuff, but I'll have to double check at the end. Next up, Slowpoke look. Number 79, Tail Whap. Don't know if that's misspelled intentionally. It's Tail Whip, technically. Or maybe it's a Whap. Not sure. The Dopey Pokemon, 311. Okay, nice purple hue for all the Slowpoke fans out there. And that same 3-card design on the front featured there as well. Next up, we have an Ammonite Amistar Kabuto shirt, which is kind of cool. Some fossil Pokemon love, looking like an underwater scene here from a prehistoric era. The OG fossil Pokemon are kind of slept on. In my opinion, no one really talks about them in the main pop culture discussion of Pokemon. I feel like they get left out for sure, but I always thought they were fairly cool, even though Water Rock is a terrible type competitively, just gets smoked by grass, but that's neither here nor there. It's a pretty cool shirt, and it's also coming out. This one's more of a 3D art, and it's got Gardevoir featured on the back with a bunch of stars, swirls, energy balls, and Gardevoir is pretty sick. Probably the best psychic type from Gen 3, not including legendaries like Latios or Latias. Front of this shirt, maybe you like that. Number 282 Pokemon, keeping it fairly light. Could be too basic, but the back hit is fairly cool with that full art design from like a GX or whatever those cards are called now. I think it's neat. This one's dope. Our first sweatshirt. So it's a crew neck, and we got Snorlax, much more popular Pokemon. Number 143. It looks like a card on the front. Lazy press, not satisfied until it eats over 880 pounds of food every day. When it's done eating, it promptly goes to sleep. This one's cool. I like the faded look to it, like a dark charcoal navy with black. Looks fairly wearable. And only 40 bucks, not that bad of a price. Next sweatshirt is Gengar, probably my favorite sweatshirt of the bunch. Gengar is easily in my top 5 Pokemon of all time. Gen 1, he might be the best, even though in Gen 1, he couldn't live up to his full potential because Shadow Ball didn't exist and Ghost was a physical type until the special physical split in Gen 4, which took so long. I'm sure you non-Pokemon fans have no clue what I'm talking about here, and that's totally fine. So we'll keep it moving. We also have a Mewtwo sweatshirt, which this one's pretty sick as well. And I might have to give it to this sweatshirt. I didn't realize the Mewtwo had a mini logo on the front, as well as that giant 3D art breaking out on the back. Black and white. Would have been cool to see that colored a bit, or maybe to see purple, but I also appreciate the restraint and holding back and keeping it monotone. I think that's kind of cool, or grayscale rather, with the light gray. And last but not least, the best design out of all of these, super Y2K vibes. We got number 201, Unknown, Tri-Power, Star Cipher. Look at that 3D art coming right at you, the wavy text, the outer glow. This is peak Y2K vibes, 100%. This is the best sweatshirt to go after in this collection. It says Pokemon on the front, very vintage looking, Unknown, Gen 2's mystery. It's got loose connections to some of the legendaries from like the Entei movie, but super sick sweatshirt, and that's $39.90, arriving mid-August. And then according to the Discord, Larry has these coming out at 8/11 at 8:15 a.m. Eastern. And it looks like there's some other designs featured here. Like there's the card. I don't know if you get the card too, or if it's just the one. I didn't see this Lapras pictured, so maybe that's coming out too. Lucario as well, and Eevee. There's also this Mew, which looks pretty cool. I'm glad I checked the Discord. Mimikyu, Tail Whap. Okay, it's not misspelled. Gengar. Ooh, this is a t-shirt. Colorized version is pretty neat. Charizard. Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't get a Charizard. There we go. Not huge on that. All right, so that's Pokemon X Uniqlo. 2 more drops. Usually I only do 1 sneaker, but today we have 2. And the first one is the Air Max 95 OG Blue Spark. Air Max 95s have been having a pretty solid year of releases. I mean, we got the Neon that came back. It was a super hyper small release, and those ended up being super hard to get, but it's the 30th anniversary of the 95s, my birth year, which is crazy to think about. There's the potential Yu-Gi-Oh! Collab coming out later. The Nike SB drop just happened last week. I thought these were an OG colorway, but they're not. Blue Spark first came out in 2011. I think the only difference between this and the OG Blues was the OG Blues didn't have the grayscale gradient. I'm not quite sure. When it comes to sneaker history, Air Maxes are definitely not my strong suit. These look pretty sharp in my opinion. Here's some up close product shots of the Blue Sparks. These will most likely be much easier to get than the SB versions for obvious reasons, not a collaboration, no re-engineered outsole for skateboarding or better cushioning or whatever. I did see someone say they were mad that Nike cheaped out and they didn't include the pressure readings on the bottom of the sneakers. I didn't even realize this, but on OG pairs of 95s and plenty of other ones, they get the pressure readings on the bottoms, but on these Blue Sparks, nothing is there. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't care at all about that small detail on the bottom of the shoe, but I can understand why some people would. So there is the Blue Spark, and those are releasing August 8th, 2025. You got 14 places they're releasing at, 8 raffles. This is on Soul Retrievers, so you can check out all these raffles, all these releases, sneakers app, a couple different stores, looking like a lot of UK and EU stuff. So it might be harder to get in the US because I know Air Maxes are a lot bigger in Europe. And the last release, in my opinion, is one of the coolest shoes to come out in the past few years. It's coming out next week. It's the Pharrell Williams Adidas Adistar Jellyfish. Not gonna be a shoe for everyone, but in my opinion, this is Adidas doing Adidas right. I love the chunkiness of the sneaker. The Balenciaga Triple S's, I mean, even Soul Retriever says it, is pretty obvious here with the midsole. But instead of being a brand that has questionable marketing and lookbook strategies, instead we got it on an Adidas sneaker, who in my opinion has some of the comfiest shoes of all time. I think my most comfy sneakers might be Adidas's over Nike's, I have to say. Not sure how these would feel in terms of comfort. They're obviously more of a statement shoe rather than a comfort or any kind of athletic sneaker, but I really like the way they look. I think this colorway is super sick too. The white, orange, gray, natural colors, I think just look really good together. The rope laces and 3D aspects of the shoe are very striking and super unique. It's almost like it has this exoskeleton on the outside. I think a lot of things can be done with this sneaker, and I hope that Pharrell is able to keep this going. I just want to see Adidas get back out into the sneakerhead world. I want to see Nike have some competition, and not only just the footwear market in general, because clearly we see that from Hoka and On Running from the normie population. But in terms of sneakerheads, like what does Adidas need to do to keep up, to have their own stories, releases that people are excited about? Obviously getting designers involved, people like Pharrell are important, influencers are important, collaborations tell a lot. He's even got 3M on them. You love to see that. Are these enough to bring Adidas into the limelight? I'm hesitant to say if they will be or not. I don't know how this release is going to go down in terms of reception, in terms of how much they produce, if they sell out. You can see they say a UC Jelly. I can't even read that. Something jelly, but I fuck with them. I wish I had more money because I can't afford these right now. Maybe someday I'll just chill with my unheard of Cushion Star 3s, which these are inspired by. If you look at the two sneakers, the silhouette is very similar. These are a more dialed down and grounded version. These are like the prototypes, racing edition, the GT version, but I'll take the 1 out of 1,500 Piggy Runners any day. Shout out to Unheard Of. So those are all the low-key drops that are happening this week with various degrees of low-keyness, from Palace Week 1, which will probably get the drop list as soon as I click upload. That always seems to happen. Starbucks Fragment Cup and Drink. I'm gonna definitely try out some espresso mixed with black tea on my own and some vanilla latte or vanilla cream to go along with it. Okay. Pokemon X Uniqlo for the budget Pokemon fans not wanting to break the bank, with some t-shirts, sweatshirts, and more. And then some sneakers with the Air Max 95 Blue Sparks for the blue heads. And then we got Pharrell holding us down, the hardcore fashion heads, the Balenciaga Orphans, the Adidas All-Stars going crazy with the Jellyfish sneaker releasing on Adidas app, I think August 15th for $300. Hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Let me know what other brands you want me to cover in the comments down below. It's been your boy Thomas, and I'm out. Peace.